Part 50 of writing a road to WrestleMania for every wrestler in WWE 2K26. For Cactus Jack, this is going to be a reimagining of WrestleMania 27, and we start with Cody Rhodes getting his nose broken at TLC. SmackDown General Manager Teddy Long asks Mick Foley to come talk some sense into him. But Cody doesn't want to hear it. He tells him he was supposed to be beautiful, and now he's a freak, just like Foley. At the Royal Rumble, Cody debuts his undashing persona and defends the Intercontinental Championship against Rey Mysterio. Cody wins with a crossroads after reversing the 6-1 team. That night backstage, Foley asks if he's ready to let go now. But Cody just asks when he's going to, quote, meet the real you, Jack. Foley shakes his head and turns away, but Cody attacks him from behind and pulls him on top of a car, then pile drivers him into the sunroof. Foley returns at Elimination Chamber, but as he walks down the ramp, he transforms into Cactus Jack. The two brawl until Foley tries to pull up the ringside padding and gets pulled away. In the weeks leading to Elimination Chamber, Cody Rhodes debuts the Hardcore Intercontinental Championship and challenges Cactus Jack to a Falls Count Anywhere match at WrestleMania. Huge shout out to the old WWE OTE channel that did this story, and as an homage we'll include the cutscene of Mick going into the lighting and exploding. From this, you must mount a comeback and defeat Cody Rhodes with a pile driver on the apron that cracks his mask. This unlocks undashing Cody Rhodes, modern Mick Foley, and Cody's face mask as a weapon. I would say the Hardcore International Championship, but my version is really bad, LOL. Next up is Candice LeRae, and check the comments for today's poll. This should be Candice LeRae's road to WrestleMania in WWE 2K27. It starts at the Royal Rumble after helping Johnny Gargano re-find himself. During the match, LeRae saves Jordynne Grace multiple times, but when Grace trusts her and turns her back, she eliminates her. Candice wants Jordan's Women's United States Championship and earns her way to a shot at Elimination Chamber, but when Candice sees she's going to lose, she goads Grace into getting DQ'd. A rematch is set for WrestleMania, but Candice knows she needs to go in with a psychological edge. She starts cosplaying Grace and calling herself the Juggernaut. At WrestleMania, it's made official that if Grace is disqualified, she will lose the United States Championship. LeRae wears an all-American attire, and the challenge of the match is to win by DQ. By cheating and dodging attacks, Grace gets frustrated and hits with her a chair. Winning unlocks Grace and LeRae's attires, plus a hair with stars dyed in it for Create an Attire. This is what I'd do for Carmelo Hayes' road to WrestleMania in WWE 2K26. We start on SmackDown, where Melo is feuding with World Heavyweight Champion Sami Zayn and his new protege, Ethan Page. The op of his op is his friend, so the first match is a tag team match of Sami and Page versus Melo and Trick Williams. Trick gets the win with a trick shot, and General Manager Jerry Lawler says that Trick will face Sami Zayn at the Royal Rumble. Melo is a little upset, but he reminds everyone that it's all good. He's still Melo in the bank. Ethan Page and Sami Zayn taunt Melo that with how good Sami is, Hayes might never ever even get a chance to cash in. At the Royal Rumble, Melo puts his briefcase on the line against Ethan Page to shut him up, and wins. Late that night, Trick shocks the world when he hits a mid-air trick shot on Sami going for a suicide dive and wins the world title. The celebration is cut short by Melo coming in from off-screen with nothing but net and cashing in to win. SmackDown starts with Trick Williams accusing Melo of stealing his shot and world title. But Melo says he's confused why everyone is mad. He did what he said he'd do. He just did it to Trick instead of Sami. Trick challenged Melo to put his money where his briefcase was and defend the title tonight, but Melo refuses. Jerry Lawler says Melo can deny it tonight, but at Elimination Chamber he's going to face 5 others who won his title: Finn Balor, Randy Orton, Jey Uso, Trick Williams, and Sami Zayn. Carmelo starts the match and has to survive till the final 3 of Trick, Melo, and Zayn. Zayn pulls Melo to the top rope for a brainbuster, but jumps down to avoid Trick and gets hit with a trick shot for it. Trick pins him, but as he's getting up, Melo comes in with nothing but net to retain. Melo snaps on SmackDown, interrupting #1 contender matches and telling Trick he's not going to take his spot. Trick fights back week after week, telling him that it was never about only one of them being in the spotlight. But Melo says there's only one main character, and it's always been him. At WrestleMania, you must beat Trick Williams in a no-holds-barred match and prove that Melo is him. But be careful. When you shoot, you better not miss. Winning unlocks custom attire personas for Trick and Mello, Sami Zayn's hockey jersey, and a masked Ethan Page persona based on El Generico named Sin Nombre. I'm not feeling Saturday night's main event, so here's a custom Stacks Lorenzo Road to WrestleMania. On NXT, Birthright is dominating. Everyone has a title except Stacks. But at NXT New Year's Evil, that might all change when he meets Tony D'Angelo for the NXT title. Birthright has pushed management too far with their cheating, so Shawn Michaels steps in as guest referee to help keep control. Stacks gets caught with a super spinebuster from the top rope and loses. But at this point, the rest of Birthright turn on Stacks. They say his, quote, impure blood is what kept him from succeeding, and their new leader would not stand for someone like him. After that, Stacks is on a warpath and earns a North American title match at Roadblock, but that's where the new leader appears. I'd do David Finlay in a perfect world, but realistically, Dr. Wagner is probably the best option. Regardless, at Stand and Deliver, it's an I Quit match between the two, and if you win, you unlock Stacks' classic persona, a custom NXT arena, and more. If Charlie Dempsey got a road to WrestleMania in WWE 2K27, I'd start it with being mentored by William Regal. In a match against Elio LaFleur, Dempsey is upset the crowd is paying more attention to Regal, and the distraction leads to a roll-up. Dempsey tells Regal he has to go on his own for a while, but Tristan Angels insults him and says that no one cares about Regal's son. At NXT London Calling, the Two-Face and Charlie Dempsey wins with a Regal stretch. Dempsey uses the win to declare himself as the British Heritage Champion, bringing back Heritage Cup rules. He goes on a global tour to defend it, including against Mr. Iguana in Mexico, Trey in Evolved, and even a stop in Pro Wrestling Noah for some strong style. Dempsey comes back to NXT at NXT Graduation to announce he's proven himself to be the greatest champion in NXT history, but that's when Ilya Dragunov returns to NXT. Dragunov challenges Dempsey and warns that violence will not entertain him. It will educate him more than training ever has. Dempsey accepts, but only at Stand and Deliver. As he goes to leave, he attacks Ilya with the belt and busts him open. At Stand and Deliver, the two meet in a Heritage Cup rules match. Charlie's manager is William Regal, and Dragunov's is Aaron Anderson. Round 1 starts, and immediately Ilya hits a Torpedo Moscow and H-bomb to win the round. Dempsey slows it down, and in round 3 catches a Constantine special into a submission to get a win. In round 5, Dempsey hits a Dragon Suplex, but Ilya rolls through it and dives into an H-bomb while Dempsey is still in the bridge. He goes for the pin, but the round ends to save Charlie. In round 6, Dempsey collapses, and it looks like Regal will throw in the towel, but it was a trick as he hits the power of the punch. Ilya is out cold for Dempsey to win. The highlight after shows that when Regal checked on Dempsey between rounds, he gave him the bras knuckles to win. Once a Regal, always a Regal. Charlotte Flair's road to WrestleMania would start on the first Raw of the new year when she gets drafted. She declares herself for the Royal Rumble and manages to be the last woman standing before number 30 even enters. Number 30 comes out, and it's NXT call-up Lizzie Rain. Commentary says how much she's going to have her work cut out for her tonight, but she gets in the ring, shakes Charlotte's hand, and then immediately takes advantage to throw her out, shocking everyone. On Raw, Charlotte demands a qualifying match for the Women's World Championship's Elimination Chamber, but it's answered by Vanta the Unknown from Evolve, who pulls off another upset. Charlotte is furious, but this is when mysterious promo packages start playing anytime she shows. At Elimination Chamber, she's determined to get to the bottom of it, but she's attacked by Micah Lockwood. Charlotte comes out on Raw and admits she's impressed. A group of hungry women superstars taking her out over and over is great. But she's been around long enough to know it's not just those three. She wants their leader, and she wants her now. The leader is revealed to be Kendall Gray, who comes out to confront Charlotte. Kendall explains that too many women are holding on to spots that aren't theirs anymore. It's time for a new reign, the reign of the Furies. Charlotte admits maybe her time is coming to an end, but it won't end anywhere but WrestleMania. Kendall accepts and the match is set. If Charlotte loses, she retires. If Kendall loses, all 4 of the Furies go back to NXT. And in a huge upset, Kendall Gray wins with a Shades of Grey off the top rope. Charlotte is done in WWE, and the Furies are on top. If Chyna got a road to WrestleMania in WWE 2K27, I'd have it actually start with an announcement by Stephanie McMahon. She has made a major signing to the company, and this woman will be the first to ever win the Royal Rumble. Out comes Sable. Sable returns to WWE, But before she can even say anything, Chyna comes out to confront her and ask why she thinks she's woman enough to win the Royal Rumble. At the actual Rumble match, Chyna enters at number 18, quickly eliminating Scotty 2 Hottie. Sable enters at 22 and the two brawl, but Chyna easily tosses her out. Sable attacks to weaken Chyna, and Eddie Guerrero takes advantage to eliminate her. Chyna is determined to prove she's the most dominant woman in WWE history and challenges Sable to a match at WrestleMania. Sable agrees if Chyna can beat Stephanie at No Way Out. But it's a setup and Sable attacks Chyna at No Way Out. She uses a sledgehammer to damage the leg of Chyna, and commentary wonders if WrestleMania will still happen. At WrestleMania, it's up to you to win with a powerbomb and prove there's only one ninth wonder of the world. Winning this unlocks Sable, a custom Chyna attire, the WrestleMania 2000 arena, and one-leg powerbomb animation for Create a Moveset. This should have been Chris Sabin's road to WrestleMania for WWE 2K27. On the first SmackDown after Survivor Series, Iron Survivor, the chairman of the board for TKO, announces a tournament, the WWE Grand Prix. 20 superstars will compete, with 4 different leagues of 5 wrestlers going against each other in a round-robin tournament. Whoever wins those leagues goes to a fatal 4-way for the final, and the winner gets a guaranteed world title match at the Royal Rumble. The Blue League on SmackDown is Chris Sabin, Dragon Lee, Solo Sikoa, Chad Gable, and Alex Shelley. And general manager of SmackDown Danhausen makes Sabin vs. Shelley the first match of the tournament. Sabin wins all but one against Solo, due to interference from Talatanga, who is cursed and banned from ringside after. But at the end of the tournament, there's a tie. Alex Shelley is also 3-1, so Danhausen makes a tiebreaker, and to make sure there's no way of a tie, it is no DQ. The match starts with a handshake and respect, but ends with a cradle shock and Sabin winning. The Grand Prix finals are the Red League winner Kevin Owens, Blue League winner Chris Sabin, Yellow League winner Chaz Starboy Hall, and Green League winner Omos. Sabin wins, and his world title match at the Royal Rumble is set against AJ Styles. There's an extra objective than you have to win with a match rating of 5 stars or higher, but Sabin does win his first world title in WWE. SmackDown starts in Detroit with a Motor City celebration. Shelley comes out and hugs Sabin to congratulate him, but General Manager Housen interrupts to say that he will let Chris pick his challenge at Elimination Chamber. Shelley looks excited as Sabin grabs a mic, smiles, and says AJ Styles. Shelley says thank you immediately, then realizes he wasn't picked. They both freeze, and Danhausen says that was awkward, then poofs away in a cloud of smoke. Sabin thinks AJ deserves another chance. Shelley thinks that they as friends should uplift each other. But if Chris won't lift him, Shelley will do it himself in the Elimination Chamber. Both men win at Elimination Chamber. There's no official heel turn, but the match is set for Shelley vs. Sabin at WrestleMania. In the weeks leading up to it, the Wyatt Six start to play mind games with both men, saying they were never brothers. Sabin and Shelley reunite to fight them, but they can't seem to stay on the same page. The respect between the men is gone, and at WrestleMania in a Motor City Rules match, Sabin has to win. With a cradle shock through a table, Chris retains, but Shelley enters with the title. It looks like a heel turn, but he hands the title over, shakes his hand, and says, "I'm still coming for it," about the belt. And before anyone gets mad that I broke up a tag team, this was literally voted on in our TikTok poll. Winning this match unlocks custom attires for both men, the TKO Royal Rumble stage, and custom Titantrons for solo entrances. If WWE Games brings back Road to WrestleMania, this should be the storyline for Chelsea Green. On SmackDown, she tells everyone she's sick of being overlooked. So General Manager Lita offers her a spot in the Royal Rumble to prove it. During the Rumble, number 22 Zaraya goes on a tear and eliminates almost everyone. It comes down to her, and number 1, Rhea Ripley, with only number 30 left to enter. Zaraya goes to clothesline out Rhea, but Rhea tries to counter and it turns into both falling over the top rope. Commentary tries to say that didn't count for some reason, but number 30 is already coming out and it's Chelsea Green. She's won by default. Chelsea has a huge target on her back, so she recruits her husband Matt Cardona and Tyler Breeze to be her elite protection force, the Green Berets. Each week they protect her from the combined force of Zaraya. At Elimination Chamber, Lita sets up a match between the Green Berets, Rhea Ripley, and Zaraya. If the Berets lose, Chelsea Green will have to defend her Royal Rumble win against the 2 women she never eliminated. In a cutscene, Rhea hits the Riptide, and Zaraya dives over her for a spear to save the pin. Chelsea will have to defend her Wrestlemania match in a three-way dance, an Extreme Rules elimination triple threat match. Lita appeals to Chelsea that if she's going to be taken seriously, she has to overcome serious obstacles, and she has to do it alone. Chelsea agrees and shows up to Saturday night's main event alone. Chelsea wins a hard-fought match with an unprettier into thumbtacks. On Raw, she's expected to make her decision for which champion to face at WrestleMania, Nia Jax or Stephanie Vaquer. The Green Berets try to come with, but she tells them she's ready to do it on her own. They'll go on to lose a tag title match in TLC. Anyways, Chelsea picks Stephanie, and with a smirk, Stephanie tells her she chose wrong. At WrestleMania in Montreal, it's up to you to prove Chelsea Green was always more than a comedy character and win the WWE Women's World Championship. Winning unlocks the Green Berets as a tag team, including custom music and Titantrons, a Chelsea Green Team Canada persona, and the WrestleMania Montreal Arena. Crazy that CM Punk is up on the day of SummerSlam Night 1 it was meant to be. For his road to WrestleMania, it would start on Raw with a strange promo where he asks if people can hear it. Hear the sound of change in the air. Hear the sound of WrestleMania coming. Hear the Second City Symphony. He's sick of TKO. He's sick of pushing a brand over talent, and he's writing the score for the Song of Revolution. But don't worry. He says, if you don't hear it yet, you will soon. Over the next few weeks, we see him start to recruit believers like Ethan Page, Ricky Saints, Royce Keys, and Jade Cargill. By the time CM Punk enters the Royal Rumble at number 21, it feels like he's got an ace up his sleeve in this Second City Symphony forming around him. That is, until number 28, Cody Rhodes, enters and clears house. Punk and Rhodes never come to blows themselves, but they are both eliminated by the eventual winner, Ilya Dragunov. CM Punk may not have won the Rumble, but he's determined to get to the main event of WrestleMania and take the power back for the wrestlers instead of TKO's chosen few. He has a qualifying match on Raw with Rey Mysterio, but Ethan Page attacks him before it starts. Punk looks upset but does still take advantage to win with the Anaconda Vice. Week after week, these followers interfere to help CM Punk win. Cody Rhodes has seen enough of it by the time the go-home show arrives, and he comes to the ring to say he's seen plenty of people rally a locker room behind them just to get themselves ahead, and he isn't going to watch it happen again. This is when CM Punk comes out. He tells Cody that if he's going to accuse him of something, he should at least be man enough to use his name. Punk says he hasn't told anyone to interfere as his matches. He isn't part of some elite club that cheats to win. Cody smiles at that, but he's heard enough and the two finally break into a fight. People try to break it up, but not before Punk hits a GTS on Cody. Backstage, Punk asks for a match with Ethan Page to put this rumor to bed, but the match can't finish when Cody attacks and starts another pull-apart brawl with Punk. It's a stacked elimination chamber with Royce Keys, Ricky Saints, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and of course CM Punk. Punk and Cody argue before the match even starts, but he focuses on winning the championship. In the middle of the match, Punk gives the signal for Keys and Saints to attack Cody, but no one moves. Cody laughs and motions a gunshot with his fingers. The two attack Punk and let Cody win the match. Cody comes out in Raw surrounded by the Second City Symphony and reintroduces them as American elitism. Punk gave them a message, and now Cody is giving them a leader. Punk starts fighting his way through the group and earns a shot at Cody. At WrestleMania Wembley, it'll be CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes inside Hell in a Cell. The creator of the revolution versus the man who leads it. Ironic, considering their all elite history. Anyways, the match ends with a crossroads on top of the cell that sends both men through it, and it is Punk that fights back to his feet and hits a final GTS. Winning this unlocks attires for everyone mentioned, the exhausted double GTS Punk does, and WrestleMania at Wembley Stadium. I know this was long, so I'll put up a short version, but we've got another Punk story for WrestleMania 30, so check the comments for that. If WWE Games decided to do retro road to WrestleManias, here's what CM Punk's should be if he never left. In a reimagining of WrestleMania 30, the Yes movement never happened. Daniel Bryan's historic rise was overshadowed by the only thing that could have saved the Authority storyline. John Cena turned heel during the main event of SummerSlam. The Authority, now made up of heel John Cena, Mark Henry, Kane, Big E Langston, and J&J Security, are running the show against all challengers. CM Punk, fresh off defeating The Shield in a 1-on-3 handicap match due to miscommunication and a spear to Ambrose, declares himself for the Royal Rumble. He tells the crowd that years ago, at Money in the Bank, he left WWE with the World Championship because he wanted to see change. And since then, a lot has changed. But one thing hasn't. John Cena is still a corporate stooge who wants the world to think he's a wrestler. He's Vince McMahon and Triple H's dream of what a wrestler is. Strong, handsome, determined, and great at following orders. CM Punk admits he isn't any of that. He isn't as good at selling t-shirts. He doesn't make as many morning talk shows. He doesn't speak 20 languages, all saying to tune into WrestleMania. But what CM Punk does better than John Cena, what he does better than anyone in the locker room, is wrestle. And when he wins the Royal Rumble, it won't be about merchandise or posters or talk shows or anything else that is best for business. It will be about who is the best in the world. But before Punk can tell the world that's him, John Cena interrupts to tell him that was a fine speech, but it doesn't mean anything. The Authority has already decided that the man winning the Royal Rumble will be John's good friend, Dave Bautista. During their promo, a frustrated John says that the Authority has already planned for Brock Lesnar to face Undertaker, not him. But that's when Brock comes out and tells them that he kicks whoever's ass he wants whenever he wants. And Undertaker isn't who he wants. John Cena is. Before it can get physical, Batista comes out and that story is continued in Brock Lesnar's Road to WrestleMania we posted about. At the Royal Rumble itself, the Authority has 3 missions. Make sure Batista wins, make sure CM Punk loses, and recruit Randy Orton to join them before WrestleMania. They make Punk enter at number 1, gift the number 30 spot to Randy, and give Batista the number 27 so he has the statistical best chance. Brock Lesnar makes sure that Batista doesn't win, and Randy refuses the help from the rest of the Authority, so our last 2 are Punk and Orton. Punk reverses the RKO into one last GTS and wins the Rumble, with his sights clearly set on John Cena. On Raw, he officially announces he chooses John Cena instead of the World Heavyweight Champion, and Triple H says it won't be that easy. He'll only get the match if he survives until WrestleMania, and as of right now, a bounty is on his head. The first to try and claim that bounty is Mark Henry and Big E Langston, but Goldberg, who returned at the Rumble, shows up and goes after Big E. They run the Authority off, and Goldberg focuses on his feud with Big E while Punk focuses on surviving. At Elimination Chamber, the Authority plans to let Batista take out Punk and steal the WrestleMania main event. But the brawl between Brock and Batista makes it impossible. Big E is busy defending the Intercontinental Championship. Mark Henry and Kane are both in the World Heavyweight Elimination Chamber, and John Cena is defending against Randy Orton. That leaves only one person to take out Punk once and for all, Triple H himself. Triple H and Punk meet one-on-one with the condition that if Punk loses, he's out of WrestleMania. But, thanks to his first Pepsi plunge on WWE TV, CM Punk officially and cleanly pins Triple H. The Authority makes Punk face Big E again for the Intercontinental Championship, but it was all a setup as John Cena attacks and cuts his own pipe bomb on CM Punk. I'm not sure what the specifics of the pipe bomb would be, so comment some good ideas below. Regardless, before he's able to finish, Punk recovers and the 2 break to end the show. The Authority is spread too thin to use the number games and CM Punk stands tall. At WrestleMania, the Authority has lost everything, and the only way they can ensure they keep their control is by keeping the WWE Championship. But CM Punk isn't going to go down without a fight. Triple H accompanies John Cena to the ring for the match, but it's clear he's really there to interfere in his behalf. Eventually, the referee ejects him, and CM Punk hits a GTS to make sure that he's really out. Cena tries to take advantage, but the distraction costs him. Cena answers back with huge kickouts, but in the end, it's one final GTS in the middle of the ring that wins the title for Punk. Winning this unlocks personas for Punk and Cena, the WrestleMania 30 arena, and the Authority entrance set. I've got 2 more CM Punk stories cooking, but they'll come out tomorrow. What if Road to WrestleMania in WWE 2K27 was for 2011 CM Punk? We'd start with CM Punk mid-feud with Randy Orton when he takes control of the Nexus, following Wade Barrett being drafted to SmackDown. Punk keeps Husky Harris and Mason Ryan like real life, but also adds 2 new FCW recruits in Tyler Black and Leaky. They interfere and attack Orton during a WWE Championship match against The Miz, and a triple threat is set for the title at the Royal Rumble. Punk uses the numbers game to his advantage, hiding behind members of his Nexus, but when Orton is able to catch him with an RKO, it sets up Miz to steal a win with the skull-crushing finale. While Miz celebrates, Punk is irate and goes backstage to demand that Tyler Black give him his Royal Rumble entry and Leaked give his to Mason Ryan. The two recruits are hesitant, but obey. In the match, Punk is actually eliminated by John Cena, but the referees miss it and he sneaks back in. That's when the glass breaks and out comes Stone Cold Steve Austin. He storms the ring, stunners Mason Ryan, and clotheslines Punk over the top rope. He tells Michael Cole to warn the anonymous GM that he's tired of seeing people like CM Punk try to get ahead like this, and if the GM won't fix it, then Stone Cold will find out who he is, hunt him down, and open a can of whoop ass on him. He turns to leave, sees Punk getting up, and hits him with a stunner before leaving. Punk and the Nexus fail to win the Elimination Chamber, and that's when Austin returns saying he's found out who the GM is, and he wants him to come to the ring to take his beating like a man. Instead, the Nexus comes out and an email comes in. Michael Cole reads out, and I quote, "I'd be happy to, Austin, but only if you manage to make it to WrestleMania. Mr. Punk, please take it from here." The Nexus attack and lay out Austin. Each week after a different member tries to beat Austin on Raw. Husky Harris tries first, and Punk banished him from the Nexus for losing. The same happens to Leaky and Tyler Black, who is especially upset with Punk. Those three go back to FCW to become the stars they're destined to be, while Punk keeps Mason Ryan to be his guard on the Go Home show. Punk agrees that if Austin can beat Mason Ryan, he can pick a special guest referee for WrestleMania. Of course, Austin does win and chooses Jim Ross as guest referee. Punk enters WrestleMania 27 alone, preparing to face his biggest challenge in his career. Austin hits a stunner to start the match, but Punk kicks out. During the match, we find out the anonymous Raw GM was Michael Cole all along when he tries to interfere, but Punk takes advantage of the distraction to hit a GTS on both Austin and Jim Ross. He gets a mic and cuts a promo mid-match, but Austin shocks him with another stunner mid-promo. In the end, Punk reverses a stunner and hits a GTS to get the win. Without his Nexus recruits, he goes on to rip into his feud with John Cena, and the timeline repairs itself until our WrestleMania 30 storyline. Winning this unlocks the Punk 316 attires, Jim Ross, Michael Cole as a playable character, and of course Nexus personas for everyone. Believe it or not, we have one more CM Punk story from his ECW days coming next. What if Road to WrestleMania followed CM Punk in ECW instead during its revival? I'd start at the Extreme Elimination Chamber, but it's CM Punk against Rob Van Dam, Sabu, Rhino, Test, and Elijah Burke. Each comes in with a different weapon and the ECW Championship is on the line. During the match, Punk takes out Test with a GTS, Rhino gores Sabu through a pod, RVD hits a frog splash off the top to Rhino, Elijah Burke takes out RVD with the Elijah Express, and to finish it, CM Punk proves he's the future of ECW with an Anaconda Vice. While he's celebrating with the ECW Championship, the lights drop out in the arena. When they come back up, Raven appears on stage with a new group made up of Abyss, Marcus Corvon, Kevin Thorne, and Ariel. They lay out Punk, and December to Dismember ends with Raven saying they are the Unkindness. On ECW, Raven says he watched Paul Heyman kill ECW, but now he wants Paul to watch him do it. He, Unkindness, is going to make sure this revival ends with a funeral. But CM Punk is the main person standing up to them, and for that Paul Heyman swears his loyalty. But slowly Heyman turns Punk corporate. Together they ambush Raven, and while Punk has him in the Anaconda Vice, Heyman shaves his head telling him a world champion contender must look the part. Raven and the Unkindness continue their war, but somehow the crowd has sided with Raven. They think Punk sold out. He became corporate made. He even changed the ECW title. And when Raven comes to guilty as charged as the conductor of his own Black Parade, it's up to CM Punk to save ECW even if it means it becomes entertainment instead of extreme. As heel CM Punk, you must defend ECW, but will you be able to resist the rising hatred of the crowd? This unlocks all of the ECW originals, the new breed, and corporate-made Punk as a persona. Finally done with CM Punk, next up is Cruz Del Toro. Cruz Del Toro's road to Triple Mania should start in a #1 contenders match for the Cruiserweight title. During the match, Joaquin Phoenix cheats to score a cheap win and go on to face Laredo Kid. During that match, Cruz shows up in a new mask. Everyone thinks he's going to take out Phoenix, but he hits Laredo and steals his mask. Cruz becomes known as the Mask Collector, someone who steals the mask of others, hoping to be the only luchador left. He takes one from Axiom and La Parca, but when he tries to take one from Rey Fenix, Pentagon makes his return to AAA to stop him. The two meet in a Caro Miedo match at Triplemania. But this is where we see Cruz's new mask, one being overtaken by a demonic outer shell. His demons are winning, and it's up to you to take Penta's mask last. Winning unlocks the mask collector persona, Laredo Kid, and a custom AAA show. Part 56 of WWE 2K27 Road to WrestleMania ideas. This one I tried to make feel a little bit like Lucha Underground.
In the time before man fought for championship, and before man fought for kingdoms, warriors fought for power. Power that could make someone more than themselves. Power to be someone greater than they thought possible. Power to be a luchador. Each luchador forged powerful masks, not to hide their identity but to become who they were destined to be. The identity of the mask and the power it held was passed down from warrior to warrior, except for one mask, El Rey de Kusufi, the king who would eclipse the sun. Infused with the greed and hunger of vile men who abused the power, King Yaotsin embraced the corruption of his mask and began to steal the relics of others, adding their power to his own. He believed that when every legacy was his, he'd be more than a king, more than a man, more than a god. He'd become the eclipse itself. A band of warriors worked together to defeat him and take his mask. It was entrusted to the Keeper of Masks for protection, forbidden to ever be touched by the hands of man. Now Lady Shani, the current Keeper of Masks, must protect the world of Lucha after the mask is stolen. A new ruler who seeks to black out the world beneath him. El Rey de Kusufi, born again through the call of the mask. Though strictly forbidden, Kusufi is attempting to take others' masks to grow his power until he is strong enough that no one can stand before him. At Triplemania, these two meet in a mask versus mask match, with the fate of the Lucha world hanging in the balance.
Winning unlocks Lady Shani's Keeper of the Mask persona, an Oba Femi Lucha attire, and a custom Triplemania that pays homage to Lucha Underground's temple. Part 55 of Road to WrestleMania concepts for every wrestler in WWE 2K26. Our previous poll said people want DLC stories ASAP, so we're on Jelly Roll. Jelly returns to Raw for a new album promotion, and is invited to stay and provide commentary for a special Battle Royal on Raw. The winner of this Battle Royal will get a guaranteed spot in the Royal Rumble. The final three are Miz, R-Truth, and Kevin Owens. Miz tries to hide outside the ring after sliding under the bottom rope while KO eliminates Truth, but Jelly gets in Miz's face. As a response, Miz throws Jelly Roll into the ring. Jelly clotheslines Miz, who falls into KO, causing both to fall over the top, and the referees call Jelly Roll the winner. As you could imagine, Owens is furious and declares that in the Royal Rumble, his mission is to crush Jelly Roll. He argues on Raw that Jelly Roll isn't deserving of this spot. He isn't worthy of competing with him, and he isn't worth forgiving for his past. Jelly Roll confronts him and admits that Kevin is right. But it's not about what he deserves. It's not about what he's worthy of. And Kevin Owens certainly isn't the one who can decide if he's been forgiven. During the Rumble, Jelly Roll actually eliminates Owens, but Owens attacks him and hits a package pile driver on the apron. Sami Zayn stands up for Jelly Roll. Zayn remembers a time that Kevin himself was someone dreaming of opportunity like Jelly Roll is now. But at Saturday night's main event, Kevin forces Zayn to submit, then challenges Jelly Roll to an unsanctioned match. Owens gets caught with a boss man slam into thumbtacks from Jelly Roll, and Jelly wins in his first and only ever WrestleMania match. I'm really not sure of good unlockables for this other than attires. Maybe a Grammy as a weapon? Or Slammy if it's copyrighted. Anyways, next up is Lady Shani. Happy DLC Day! Here's a road to WrestleMania for the Hardies. It starts with the current tag team champions, Logan Paul and Grayson Waller, holding an open challenge at WWE Starrcade. The Hardys answer and win, earning huge thank you Hardy chants. They look a little confused, but celebrate anyways. Backstage, they're asked what they want to do on their last run. Matt and Jeff both ask who said this was their last run. Each week, they host an open challenge. At the Royal Rumble, they go against the new team of Sinners and Saints, Damian Priest and Ricky Saints. Starting here, Nathan, Frazier, and Axiom come and watch all the Hardies matches. The Hardies say they want them to challenge at Elimination Chamber in a huge match. The Hardies win, but that's when Jevon Evans and Leon Slater show up to confront the Hardies. While not an official heel turn, they do take on the name of the Curators and say they're putting the Hardies in a museum where they belong. At WrestleMania, it's a TLC match for the tag titles, and in a cutscene while Jeff is going for a ladder dive, Jevon intercepts with a springboard OG cutter. The Curators win in a great match, sending the Hardies to be the featured exhibit in the history of tag team wrestling. The Hardies take a moment to take it all in. Winning this unlocks all the custom tag teams, the Hardies' special attires, and Leon Slater. Can't believe I totally missed Cody Rhodes. For his road to WrestleMania, we start mid-feud with a heel CM Punk. They two are in a heated rivalry about the future of WWE and who will shape it. Cody cuts his own pipe bomb about how everyone says Punk is this revolutionary and voice for the voiceless. Cody is the one who reinvented himself, created an elite competitor to WWE, and chose to come back and push the future of this company. At the Royal Rumble, they meet in a 3 stages of Hell match. The first stage is a standard match that Cody wins. The second is Extreme Rules that Punk wins. And the third is an I Quit match that Cody wins with a chair-assisted figure 4. While Cody is getting checked in the doctor's office, he watches as Femi wins the Royal Rumble by last eliminating Braun Breaker. Cody goes on to defend the undisputed championship in the Elimination Chamber against some of the current top stars of the company. But the one that really gives him trouble is Jacob Fatu and Braun Breaker. Cody powers through to win, but when Femi comes out and points to the WrestleMania sign, Cody's face shows a bit of fear. At WrestleMania, Oba warns that Cody got to finish his story, and now he will be a footnote in the next chapter of wrestling when Oba beats him for his first title. This is a story of past, present, and future, so I'd have it end with the future starting and Femi beating Cody Rhodes. Finishing this would unlock a custom Cody attire and Oba WrestleMania attire, unlock the WrestleMania Miami stage, and maybe a few island attire parts. Anyways, the D's start on Monday.